Hey folks, Papa Boris here, playing some more leaders. We're up against Chupe 15, who I do believe we have played against before. And Chupe going first gets a pretty strong start here with the Royal Guard or the Claw, his choice. The Royal Guard, of course, is a very popular pick because you can just get right up to the enemy leader with one of your pieces, and depending on how the rest of the draft goes, that can be very strong. Not surprised he took that. And we've got the Protector and the Nemesis here. This is very scary because if I don't get a good pick here, I could be in some serious trouble. Yeah, I mean, putting the Claw here, it doesn't really even accomplish that much because my opponent can just step up with the leader, Royal Guard, and then just, you know, I get absolutely nowhere with it. I could put the... Okay, so I'm definitely taking the Claw from this pack of clowns, but I think actually this is a case where going here doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Maybe I'll stick it here and then step up. This can cut the leader off. Not really sure what that accomplishes. Here, I'll try putting it on this side. I can step up to threaten the leader, and then I can also pull my own leader away, maybe. And then we do get the rider, which I have been enjoying more and more lately. Because the rider, you know, it's stupid, but it can just get in really fast, and it is able to target the leader with its active ability. So I value that a lot. It can also, you know, get into a defensive position if needed. My Claw placement here actually influences my opponent's turn. He doesn't put the Royal Guard as close as possible as he could because he doesn't want me to be able to claw over to it. Okay, so we have this. We have this, and we got the Acrobat. So the question is, how do I want to position myself? And I reckon it's something like this. I have to be very careful because my opponent does have a Vizier now, and so if I do this kind of shenanigan, I may end up paying the ultimate price for it because my opponent's leader can shoot up next to me, and then the Royal Guard as well. But I think I'm going to be okay. And, you know, I like to play a little bit aggressively. Let's test the limits of what we can do. There's some nice synergy with the Acrobat and the Rider, because if you take the Rider first, then you can get up here and essentially, like, reserve this spot. If my opponent, you know, had, let's say, if the spot wasn't open, my opponent could have, for example, moved up with the leader, summoned the Royal Guard here, and then moved here and stopped my Acrobat from jumping. But this way, I reserved the position, and now that allows me to get in with the Acrobat. My opponent has to be a little bit careful because, for example, if this space is open, I can just put my Rider here and jump into it. So my opponent has to watch for that, but also, like, I could put the Rider here and then jump with the Acrobat there. So I can have two very forward pieces. And then my thinking is maybe I put, like, the Claw here, and I can always pull my leader in. Okay, not always. I could be able to maybe put my leader in. It's a little bit risky because, of course, if the opponent puts a piece in this line, then I'm in trouble. And my opponent does have the Royal Guard, so it's very easy for him to do that. So one thing I'm wondering here is if my opponent's going to get baited by the Nemesis. I still don't think you can take the Nemesis here. I just don't think that the Vizier and the Royal Guard are enough pressure. But you never know. Probably the correct call here, since I only have the Claw that can move enemy pieces, is the Archer. A lot of the Claw's power comes from moving your own pieces, so I'm not super... Like, in his situation, I wouldn't feel super tempted to take the Protector just to stop the Claw from yanking your stuff. I would just take the Archer here because, you know, it is kind of sad to take this piece, but at least it's something sort of resembling mobility, whereas the Protector is mostly just a vanilla piece moving around. All right, so what would I do here if I were Chupe? Well, you put the Vizier here to stop the Acrobat from jumping that far deep. Yep, you know, 200 rated player. It's not kidding around. I am very nervous playing anyone over 200. Okay, so we have an interesting situation here. My opponent obviously kind of leaves himself open to the Rider going here and the Acrobat jumping there. The issue, of course, is then he can just run the other way. And then my Acrobat's a little bit out of position. So I don't know if I need to take that bait. In general, it's just very tricky to play against a Vizier because it's so easy for him to swing around. You really have to close in on multiple fronts to make some progress. Yeah, this move really feels like bait, putting the Acrobat here, because then it's hard for me to put the acrobat back into position, even accounting for the fact that he's all, jumpy. I could move the rider up and then jump here if the opponent leaves the vizier. It doesn't, if the opponent moves the vizier, but the opponent could just leave the vizier there. There's no rush to move the vizier. So, oh my god, my opponent does go for the nemesis. Holy cow. Okay, well, that means that the Royal Guard, the leader himself, I suppose, and the vizier have to put on a lot of pressure in order for me to be in any sort of danger. Maybe now I do want to put the acrobat here, because what I could do is block this space with my rider and then move my leader anyways, and then the nemesis is just going along the back rank. I could be wrong about this. I feel like I gotta go for it, though. We're gonna do it. This is not only really close to his leader, but it's, it's threatening to, or it's potentially going to block the nemesis and allow my leader to move. Do I want my claw to move? So there is some merit to putting my claw here. This makes it so that I'm potentially able to yoink the vizier off, put my rider here, move my leader while it's still safe to do so, and then jump with the acrobat. On the other hand, if I go here, I could potentially pull my acrobat back into play. On the other hand, yeah, I kind of like the claw here, because if the Royal Guard moves away from this line, I can pull my leader in. And if the Royal Guard stays here, what's he really doing? He's not really accomplishing anything. Now, you might say, well, hold on. If you do this, Boris, then the Royal Guard can just go here. The Vizier can go here. The leader runs. And then, you're just being threatened by this nemesis. Yeah, this is one of those weird situations where the way I did this, my leader is just sort of exposed. But I can always pull the Royal Guard off with my claw if needed as well. Okay. The other thing is, I could try to do some weird line where, like, I put myself in position to swap with my Illusionist, allowing me to claw from a different direction. I'm not really sure what that accomplishes. But yeah, the problem with this acrobat jumping line is I'm just not blocking the Vizier from moving up. I got so focused on this nemesis, I think I might have actually misplayed this. Now I can only undo my claw move. Maybe it would have been better to keep the acrobat here. Although the other acrobat could just jump back. I could just jump back with the acrobat and it's totally fine. Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do is I will obviously take the Illusionist. The question is, where do I summon him? The Royal Guard goes here, which blocks the Illusionist from this middle lane, so I don't think that's very helpful. I could summon it here and swap with the Nemesis, though I'm not sure that's actually that helpful, because I don't want the Nemesis over here. I'd rather have the Nemesis be over here. I could put it here. The Vizier steps up. I block the Nemesis. I move my leader. And then I swap with the Vizier? That doesn't seem helpful at all. And it's tough to find a really, really great spot for it. I could move the rider and then swap with the rider and then have the rider come back more quickly. Alright, we'll try that. I could also do a similar thing with the acrobat. Alright, maybe I could do this. I could always claw up the Illusionist. This gives me some more options. We'll try it from here. Alright, I have to say I'm a little bit nervous about getting my first loss against a Nemesis. This is, just very, very close here with the Royal Guard being there and the Nemesis and the Vizier just being here. Now, the good news is, actually, nice thing about this position is that if the Royal Guard goes here, I could swap with it for protection. And then it's really out of position. Okay, I wasn't even thinking about that, but I think I accidentally made a good move. Yeah, this is much better. So now my opponent's actually blocking the Illusionist. right, this is a good play by my opponent. So my opponent's threatening checkmate, but blocking the illusionist from being able to do any illusioning. And then, of course, just running with the leader. All right, so I'm very curious what he's going to draft. Maybe Archer here? Or here, even? Well, he can't put the Archer... He can't draft here, because then I can completely block the Nemesis and move. Oh, he's actually going to block in his own Nemesis. Very interesting. All right, so here, I think I have to do a bit of a safe move. We're going to do this, and we're going to swap with the Vizier to put the Vizier further from my leader, just buying some more time. And then I'm going to block in the Nemesis so that my leader can move. It's now going to take a number of turns for the Vizier to get back over to me. And of course, we're going to jump in with the Acrobat. So the idea now is that it's going to take the Vizier 1, 2, 3 turns to get up to my leader. And I didn't calculate it, but I'm hoping that with a Claw, Illusionist, Rider combo wombo here, I can actually just checkmate his leader within 3 moves. That's the plan. Obviously, if I move, the Nemesis can touch me. Although that actually does buy me 1 extra turn, because then the Vizier needs an extra turn to get back up to me, and this leader's too far away to be able to even do the Royal Guard thing to summon. All right, well, my opponent is making it very challenging for me to win, but this illustrates the problem with the Nemesis. Not that anybody still doesn't know he sucks, but it's just, now this piece isn't doing anything. It can't come close to my leader, so the literal only piece that can checkmate me is the Vizier. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that my opponent is more or less just lost here. I simply just don't see a way that he can stop me from checkmating him. Now, the Vizier is still just extremely powerful because the leader can move twice. But what we can do, let me think, is maybe like pull the Acrobat in with the Claw and then put the Acrobat up. Put the Rider over here. If the leader goes this way, then I win with the Acrobat and with the Claw. All right, I should probably calculate it more, but the thing is, the reason I'm not calculating it super hard is the simple fact that my opponent just can't win. My opponent, the Royal Guard can't get up to my leader anymore. It's just, you know, impossible for him to do anything. I could swap with the Vizier, though that is a little frisky, and I don't know that the Illusionist is even any better here. I could actually swap with the Acrobat to leave the jumping piece behind. It's an idea. Just swap with the Acrobat. And then just, like, put the Rider here. I seriously don't know how my opponent stops checkmate. He can't run in this direction. There's just no way. Because I have a piece that can go here and a piece that can go here. Or here. So basically, he cannot stop me from going here. Okay, let me be... he says basically and then proceeds to not make it more basic. He cannot block 2 of... Like, there's just no way that he can stop me from suffocating and or checkmating him from this direction. So the only place he can go that's safe is here, but then he has to stop suffocation. I just don't think he can do it. Basically, the only way he can try to wriggle out is if he moves the Protector and zips back in here. So I believe that all I have to do is this. I think. I really hope I'm not wrong about this. But basically, if the leader goes over here, I really don't see a way he survives. And if he goes up here, he's going to get suffocated. I think. We'll see if I'm wrong about that, or if there's some really kooky way that he has of trying to stop checkmate. There's actually a... You know, I didn't notice this until now, but there is a weird line where the Royal Guard zips over here, and the Protector stands in here, and this space is open. But the Rider can actually zip in there, so this is an accident I wasn't calculating this, but the rider being able to move 2 spaces and touch the leader with his active ability is, again, very relevant. Note that there's no zipping out this way. The leader's not allowed to legally stand in this spot. He doesn't have anything that can move any of my pieces. You know, I respect it. I respect it so hard. Taking the Nemesis as your 3rd draft, that was highly respectable. But you know what I think? I think he missed that move. I think he missed me pulling up the Illusionist and pulling away the Royal Guard. I just think he didn't notice it. Oh, you know what I didn't notice is that he doesn't have to move at all. And yeah, I don't have checkmate here. Oh, that is hysterical. Oh my god. Yep, I was expecting his leader to move. I didn't count on him not moving. Okay. I still have a win here. It takes a little bit more effort to find, but god, the claw. The claw, I think, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just like one of those things where every game I play, you know, whoever happened to be really strong the last time is the one that I'm focused on. But god, the claw lately seems even better than the Illusionist. Although having both the claw and the Illusionist was very helpful in that case. Respect the Nemesis. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and or subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.